Let's welcome in Y.M. Deosthali, CMD at L&T Finance Holdings, who joins us on the show. Mr. Deosthali, hi, morning. Firstly, if you could walk us through your outlook for the infrastructure sector for this year.
A lot needs to be done in infrastructure sector. All sectors require investments. So what we have seen in the last year and last few months is some bit of an action. Much more needs to be done. Let me deal with this in parts. Let's go sectorially. If you look at power, a lot of investment is required in power. The country is short of power. There is a huge deficit. There are several states which are reeling under power cuts, and therefore there is no denying that we need additional power. On the other hand, we have problems of relating to coal. While Coal India has increased production, and they are working hard to ensure that sufficient coal is available, fact remains that we will have about 20% shortfall in coal, at least for the next 2-3 years, which means that we need to import. Luckily for us, the import prices, coal prices, have come down, and as a result of which, economically it's not going to be that bad. But merging this, importing and balancing the domestic and international coal prices and supplying coal to the market, that mechanism needs to be put in place. But having said that, the most important aspect is new capacity addition. And we do not see much of enthusiasm as far as private developers are concerned in terms of adding capacity.
Mr. Deosthali, what kind of enthusiasm are you seeing on part of banks to lend to the infrastructure segment? We have seen a lot of banks, they have shied away from lending to infra projects in this kind of an environment.
Actually, it's not a question of banks turning around or not funding the projects. It is the main issue is quality of the projects. If there is a good quality project and a good promoter, there are enough lenders to support the project.
Mr. Deosthali, the RBI has recently raised the limits for infra financing companies to raise ECBs. How will this work out for a company like yours?
See, this RBI's move is definitely a welcome move. Over a period of time, RBI has been relaxing ECB norms, and particularly for infrastructure finance companies. So they have now allowed ECBs up to 75% of net own fund through automatic route. It's a very welcome step, and I think companies will look at accessing these funds.
Mr. Deosthali, L&T Finance has made a couple of acquisitions of late, including that of Fidelity's mutual fund business. How has that panned out for you?
See, these acquisitions are extremely strategic. We are building a comprehensive financial services business. So we would like to be a player in many areas, and ultimately customer is going to be the key element in our decision making. So if you look at the acquisitions which we have made, the acquisition of Fidelity's asset management business, that's a large one. We were in asset management business. However, that was very small, and it was predominantly debt oriented. So we wanted to have a balanced portfolio and also a reasonable size. Fidelity provided both. It's a reasonable size fund, plus there is enough balance between debt and equity. So as a result of which, our asset base has gone up beyond 12,000 crore, and we have a good balance between equity and debt. In addition to that, it also provides us flexibility in terms of distribution, because L&T Mutual Fund was largely focused on IFAs, whereas Fidelity had a broader distribution network, including banks.
Do you then at L&T have any fundraising plans for L&T Finance in particular?
If you are asking for equity, we are not planning to raise any equity in the immediate future. Debt is our raw material, and from time to time, depending on the growth, we raise debt funding from the market.
Mr. Devasthali, now that you have built up a comprehensive financial services business with a presence across sectors, can one view that this is indirectly some kind of an preparation for an banking application license?
Well, it is very speculative and hypothetical question, but let me attempt answering that. The first point is this portfolio which we have built is for a non-banking finance company, and therefore it's not that because we want to be a bank, we want to build this portfolio. No, irrespective of the fact whether you are a bank or a non-banking finance company, diversification was important, and that's why we have built this portfolio. As far as bank is concerned, bank allows you to provide many products and many options. Banks allows you to provide non-fund based facilities. It allows you to provide foreign exchange related facilities and many other things. So actually it makes sense to be a bank from the point of view of providing various products and options to customer. So from that perspective it is an important element, but it doesn't mean that one cannot grow without a bank. We have demonstrated that growth is possible even without in this structure. As far as the preparations are concerned, I think it is too early to say. One has to wait for what the guidelines, and one has to see whether we meet with those guidelines, what kind of business plan needs to be prepared, keeping in mind those guidelines. I think there is a lot of work to be done once the final guidelines are announced, and really speaking, it will pick up after that.
Right, and in terms of infrastructure, Mr. Devasthali, what are the key areas that the government needs to prioritize according to you?
Well, I have already covered that. There are a number of things. One is that infrastructure companies, construction companies, a lot of money is stuck with some of the public sector undertakings. So in order to improve the health of some of these companies so that they can undertake more projects, these dues need to be expeditiously cleared, number one. Secondly, as I said, the projects which are stuck because of some clearances or some procedural delays or some issues need to be resolved. Those issues need to be resolved, and that's why the cabinet committee has been formed under Prime Minister's leadership to look into that. I think that must get momentum. That is the second important thing which is important. The third thing is NHAI, which is the awarding authority for roads. This entire process of awarding contracts through EPC basis, I think that also needs to get some speed. It is very important because we have been hearing about it, and I think through the PPP route, nothing much has been ordered in the year 12-13. So this is something which needs to get very priority basis attention of government and NHAI particularly. That is the third thing. And the last point which I mentioned, these dedicated freight corridor projects which are at an advanced stage of bidding. I think that process, if we can expedite, that will certainly help. So what is essential is that some signals have been sent. Now action needs to be seen on the ground.